All right, well, thanks for coming out this chilly morning. We, on our resurfacing program, a lot of it has to do with weather. And this street was started, I think, a few weeks back. They scraped the street, take off the old asphalt. Then they put the undercoating on it. That's the first coat. And what they're doing today is the finishing coat. And that will probably be done today. So this taking a while for this street simply because of the weather. But to give you an indication of what we're doing, over the last, since 2014, over the last 3 years, we've invested $227 million in street resurfacing and reconstruction. And I'm gonna break it down for you each year so you can get a general sense of what we've been doing. Now, before I do that, however, I always like thanking the people for issue 32. You know, without issue 32, this crew would not be out here. We would have probably had to lay off people rather than increase in service. I want to thank the public for their support of issue 32, the income tax increase. But when we first, before we started this initiative of concentrating resurfacing in a more systematic way, we were spending about $4.4 million on residential resurfacing. And that came out of our operating dollars, our city general fund. And then there was monies that we leveraged with the state. And that money we leveraged with the state, we would pay 20% of that cost and the state would pay 80%. So I'm gonna give you examples of the year. 2014, we completed $36.4 million in street resurfacing and reconstruction, and that amounted to about 75 streets. 63 of those streets were residential streets like this, residential streets, and that was at $4.4 million. $32 million was spent on major road construction. That is where we leverage 20% of that money with the state and sometimes with NOACA, and they came up to $32 million, and that was 12 major roads throughout the city of Cleveland. In 2015, it was $73.5 million worth of resurfacing and reconstruction. That amounted to 92 streets that were completed, and we spent $7.5 million on residential street resurfacing, again like this, and $66 million on 13 major road construction. As we began to ramp up our ability to to do more and more residential streets, in 2016, we spent $59.3 million, again, 95 streets completed, and in 2016, last year, we spent $10.5 million on residential streets, and $48.3 million was spent on major road construction for 12 major roads. This year, what we have scheduled, and this I believe is the first street that we're doing, is we have $58 million worth of road construction and resurfacing. That's 95 projects, which means 95 streets. 12 million will be spent on residential reconstruction and resurfacing, and 46 million on major road construction. Now, the reason I make this point to you is that we are in a concentrated effort to improve our infrastructure, particularly in regards to our roads and our bridges and streets. And as we spend this money, again, $217 million since 2017, and as we go forward, our goal is over the next, I think we set a 20-year period for ourselves, so over the next 16 to 17 years, we want all the streets of the city of Cleveland to be at a certain grade in terms of the condition of those streets. Director Cox will talk to you about other aspects of it, because once we do this, we'll have to maintain them. There will be crack sealant to ensure that we won't get potholes or to make it more difficult for potholes to pop up. And then we have pothole crews. Those aspects of this, again, are really a factor of the passage of issue 32. So again, I want to thank the people for that passage, because we've gone from, I think, is potentially 3 to 4 crews on potholes, that will be up to 8 to 10 crews. We'll be able to do all these things again support, with the support of issue 32. So I'll turn it over to Director Cox. Now you got to give me a time to transfer these things.
And Mayor, could
yes.
we ask you a couple quick questions about the?
Yes, you can ask a quick couple questions. Now they may be answered by him, but since you might be in a hurry, I'll let you.
No, we're not in a hurry. I just wanted to make sure we ask you a few questions here.
Okay.
You said what, 90 streets, residential streets?
No, this year it will be this year it'll be 95 projects, which means streets.
Okay.
Of those, 83 will be residential, and there'll be 12 major road construction. This would be like 152nd would be a major road construction. Those are large streets, not necessarily residential streets, and they're state routes that give us the ability to leverage 20% of our money with 80% of state money. And there's a process that we go through for that.
Yeah, how is it decided what streets are getting repaved?
Well, you are aware that when we do the major road construction, there is a process. You go through
And what is that process?
The process is better explained by the director, but it is you apply for it. There are different, like I think they call it a track committee. NOACA's involved in there. And it might take you 3 to 5 years for that to work its way up, and they're ranked. And so we probably get about, as I said, every year, as you can see, is consistent. In 14 it was 12, 15 it was 13, 16 it was 12, this year is 12. So it's pretty consistent as to what we get, and then we have to support 20% of that. The other side is the residential resurfacing program. That's not a major reconstruction, it's just resurfacing. That in the past, that was picked by a council choice. The money was split up evenly among council people. Over the last 3 years, we've taken that in-house, and then we have what we believe to be an objective process with a pavement management study that really gives us an indication of which are the worst streets, and then we go from there.
So based on that pavement management study by Baker International,
yeah.
They submitted a list of suggested
Right.
streets. How does that list differ with the list that has now been made for repaving this time?
Well, again, those kind of details you have to talk to my operations people. But what they use that as a guideline. They use that as a guidepost as to measuring streets so that we can get the worst streets first. And I think they're ranked at F. And so in every ward you may have a certain number of F streets.
So the F streets will be done.
The F streets are what we intend to do in each ward, yes.
Because in the past we have shown that that's not the case.
Well, in the past, as I said, when there was a different process, you're right. In the past, that it would be picked by someone else, not an objective standard. It would be picked by somebody in a subjective way.
So the Baker International report that helps guide what streets will
Yes.
be repaved, we have found numerous mistakes within that study.
Well, you may have. I don't know.
I mean,
I haven't
roads that are
studied.
graded a 100 shouldn't even be a 50.
Well, again,
how does that happen?
You're making an assertion that I'm not aware of. And so that's your assertion. I'm not aware of your assertion. If you have something specific, you can give it to me,
absolutely.
and then we can take it back and look at it.
Yeah, we have documented. In fact, it was a report. I'm still waiting for a response from the city.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Court from East 103rd to East 105th.
Right.
That was labeled at 100,
Okay.
and there's cracks, there's potholes that I could actually lay down in, and there was room to spare.
Well, tell me, how many of these do you have?
I have at least 3.
At least 3. We have over 8,000 streets. So I imagine out of 8,000 streets, you may find some problems or some.
These were the first ones we even came across.
Well,
we didn't even search.
Well, maybe you should search a little bit more, and you might find more, and then you can give it to me, and then I'll handle it.
I have given them to your
Well,
press
then
folks.
we'll follow up on it.
But I haven't heard back. This has been now a month
We'll follow up on
or
it.
two now.
We'll follow up on it.
This.
Now, anybody else got questions in regards to this?
No, sir.
Okay, y'all got good video?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to Director Cox, and if anybody wants to ask him, he has more specifics around the operational side, because this operation is really a factor of what he does, okay?
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mayor.
My name is Mike Cox. I am the Director of Public Works for the City of Cleveland. Like the Mayor, I want to thank the citizens of the City of Cleveland for passage of Issue 32, which allowed us to continue on our work in improving our services in the City of Cleveland. Where we're at now is in 102nd Street in Ward 4. This street is one of the first streets that we're doing this year in our 2017 resurfacing program. As the Mayor stated, we had a pavement management study that was done. Those streets that we have chosen to do this year are rated F. That's a pavement condition rating, and that is a 55 or below in that rating. So we will be doing F streets this year. We hope to get about 95 streets done this year on a residential. Because of the increase that the Mayor has so graciously made arrangements for, we have $12 million worth of work. We are separating that work with internal crews and a contractual crew, and we will divide the awards up between our internal crews and our contract crews. All of them under the jurisdiction of the City of Cleveland, though. So what you will see is those crews being done. The other issue is that we have the issue 1 projects going this year too. The Mayor gave you those numbers, so those numbers are great numbers for us to get through this city. There are over 8,000 residential streets in this city. There are a lot of streets in this city, and we are working to get to all those streets. As the Mayor said, within the next 20 years, we want to finish all the streets, residential streets in the City of Cleveland. So that is where we're at. He gave you the difference in the Nowaka streets, which is the 20% match. Those streets, about 12 of those streets will be done this year, including 116th and Martin Luther King, which is in this area, coming all the way from from Miles over to Shaker Boulevard. So those are streets. We're working right now on East 152nd Street. A large project, I think it's in a range of $5 to $6 million worth of work that's being done out there. So I wanted to make sure that you all understand. We have a list. Our streets are ready. I want to make sure that one other thing is that we don't just take the pavement management study and go from there. We do a site of all of our streets. The Division of Streets has written most of, if not all of the streets in the F streets, and we make sure those streets are the right streets to be done and that they're rated correctly. So it's not just saying, here's your report and we're good. We do a windshield survey on all the streets in the city.
Now, if I can be a reporter for a minute. So in the past, there's been resurfacing a street like this. What is the life expectancy of a street like this?
Well, the life expectancy is about 10 years. What we will do, Mayor, also to make sure, gentlemen, what we will do, and ladies, what we will do is we will crack seal this street. Last year, we crack sealed all of our 2016 streets. 15 streets. That means we've sealed all the joints, sealed all the cracks, and made sure that stops the street from deteriorating faster.
So does that add life to
that? That adds life to the street.
So what the crack sealing will add?
Maybe another 2 to 3 years to the street.
Okay.
We will add, when we get through this street, next year, with all the 17 streets, we will come back and crack seal all 17 streets in 18.
And then once after that period of time it starts developing chuck holes, then what happens?
Well, then we'll come back and we'll do hot asphalt and fill those chuck holes, all right, until we can get back around to this street, which the Mayor said in about 15, 16 years, we hope to get back to all these streets. So we will do our potholes. The enhanced services that we got with 32 allowed us to get at least 10 pothole crews on the street, which we're working now, and we also were able to hire the pothole killer. which is working 2 trucks, one in.
And that's compared to what?
Compared to, we didn't have the pothole killer, and compared to, we had, by this time, last year, we would have 3 pothole crews out here trying to do it. So we're systematically going through all the residential streets and fixing all the potholes. We're about 25% through the city, and by early August, by mid-August, we hope to be through with all residential streets with pothole cleared, and that gives us, because of the extra crews we're allowed, we'll be able to.
No, I'm not breaking any union rules. All right.
So that's where we're at. We also, again, the enhanced services through issue 32, which is gracefully appreciated, because I know at this time we would not be able to do the potholes at the level we're doing. We wouldn't have the pothole killer, and we may not have this crew out here. I don't know what would have happened, but I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we'll be able to continue our services.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Director, I got a quick question
Okay,
about, so it was raining the last couple of days, and we got a picture sent into our news desk about them filling in potholes while it's raining. Did you hear anything about that?
No, I have not heard about that. If there is rain, they have to, sometimes we would come across potholes after a rain, and we're supposed to blow that out. So if you got a location that happened in, let us know, and we'll go out and make sure.
And really, I want to express to you, just as Channel 5 said, if you notice things, look, we're trying to do this and do it right. We're trying to do a good job. We're trying to provide services. So if you know something, let us know.
Yeah.
We're not offended by you telling us the truth about stuff or the facts.
Correct.
If you know something, let us know so we can address that, because that is part of our ability to to measure ourselves and to hold people accountable, hold ourselves accountable. So we're not offended by you bringing things to our attention. We just ask that you not make the assumption that we're not doing anything. We got look at this is quite a bit of work, and we're going to be doing 95 streets this year.
Yes.
And we have upped our ante, and will continue to up our ante until such time as the infrastructure, the roads, the streets, and the bridges in the city of Cleveland reach a certain grade. That's what we want to do. So again, we appreciate it if you give us information.
Yes.
And then we'll follow up on it.
We have been in constant contact with your press office and relaying some of the concerns that our viewers have.
Right.
So it's not a matter of us not getting a hold of you. Actually, we're waiting to hear a response from the city to a number of the issues that we brought up.
Okay. Well, thank you for that too. I appreciate it.
Director, so
All right.
what would you have to do if it was filled with it? Would you have to?
Then we'd have to redo it. If it was done incorrectly, we have to redo it. But again, as the mayor says, as we know, and if you give me a call, give the Division of Streets a call, we'll make sure that that's correct.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
it. Thank you.